To get started on the ClipStash project, we'll open up a new folder. We'll just double click on ClipStash and click OK. Once the project loads, we'll browse to the files really quick. That way we can see what we're working with. Here we have a migrations folder, and this has database migrations. Database migrations are the commands necessary to create a database and upgrade versions. We already have a migration created for us, and that will create the clips that we'll be stashing on our website. Writing SQL queries is outside the scope of this course, but there's tons of great resources online for how to do so. We have our source directory here, and we have a bin and lib directory. Our bin directory is empty, and we'll be creating the binaries later. Our lib directory has our data layer, our domain, our service down here, and finally, our web components. We also have a static directory, and this just includes the static files that will be served on our web server. We just have some styles, a logo, and a little bit of helper functions. We also have a templates directory, and these will be the templates that are rendered as HTML pages. If we take a quick look at the templates, we have a base page, a few clip pages, an error message, footers, headers, and a home page. If we take a look at the template homepage, we'll see that a template is provided for us. Similarly to the SQL queries, writing HTML code and CSS styles is beyond the scope of this course. We will, however, be taking a quick look at some of the template options when we go to create the template renderer. The first part of the project that we'll be creating is the domain portion of the project. So let's scroll up over here to the domain folder. We'll see we have the domain listed here. Within the domain, we have a clip and field module. So we want to open up the clip module. That'll be the second one here. You can close the field folder, and you'll see that the clip has a line right here. And so we want this module right here, and that'll be the clip module. Let's open that up. We'll see that the clip module has a module within it named field, and these will be the structure fields that are part of the clip. So now we'll create our clip structure. So I'm just going to name it clip. We'll make it public, and it's going to have multiple fields. I'm going to make some placeholder names. So this will all be part of the field module, and I'm just going to copy and paste this a few times. So our first field is going to be a clip ID. Then we're going to have a short code. The short code will be the URL used to locate this clip. Next, we'll have the content, which will be the actual clip itself. We have a title. We can also have the date that it was posted, the time it expires, if it does expire, a password protected clip, and we're going to have the number of hits. That'll be the times that the clip was viewed. Each one of these fields is going to be accessed within our field module, and that's why we have this field here with the path access operator. So the clip ID field will just be called clip ID, and the same thing for a short code, and we're just going to go down the list and fill out these types. Once that's done, we need to make some derives on this clip. So we're going to derive debug, clone, deserialize, and serialize. The deserialize and serialize traits are part of the serde crate, so we'll need to include that in our cargo.toml file. If we scroll down through our project, we can open up the cargo.toml file and add the serde dependency. We're going to be using version 1. We'll also want to include the serde JSON crate. And what that'll do is allow us to convert data into a JSON format, which is good for web work. We can close that and then go back to our clip structure. Now that we've created this clip structure and we have our fields in place, we actually need to create these fields, because right now these all refer to non-existent modules. So we'll need to create all these now. So if we go on over here to our field folder, we have our mod file, which indicates that this is a module. Let's double click that, and we'll see that our module is empty. Within this module, we just need to specify additional modules that will be representing our fields. So what I'm going to do is just paste in our existing structure and modify it so we can have modules. In addition to the mod keyword, I'm also using a pub use, and that will export these structures into this module itself. That way we don't need to access these files directly from outside this module. You'll notice I have a bunch of squigglies, and that's just because I haven't created the modules yet. We're going to do that now. Let me just add some spaces so this looks a little prettier. All right, now we should be good to go. Now we need to create each one of these files. To create these, I'm just going to right-click on this field folder and then create the file names designated. So for the clip ID structure, we need to create a clip ID file within this field folder. I'm going to create them all now. You'll see now that these squiggly lines have disappeared. That's because we created these modules over here in this section. It may seem like a bit much to create an individual file for a single field in a structure. However, some of these fields are going to have a lot of information with them and have a lot of different functionality that's available. And the reason for this is because we're going to utilize the compiler to enforce these rules that we apply to these fields. For example, the content field requires content, so we're not going to allow people to post empty clips. So this field itself will enforce those rules, and those rules have to be coded somewhere. And if we include all of these fields in one file, then we may end up with a long file of 5 or even 600 lines long. So splitting it up into these multiple files just makes it easier to manage.